or what's happening here. But I wanted to just talk today about how to manage the inner critic. So most people have a voice in their head, and it can be giving you opinions and comments and suggestions and feedback and telling you that you're, oops, sorry, I'm moving things around a bit, telling you that you're not doing very well, or that you need to run faster, jump higher, do more, be better, etc. And that's the voice that we want to bring awareness to, because this is the voice of this inner critic, which is ultimately coming from the place of the egoic mind. And in the work that I do with people, it's about learning how to differentiate between the egoic mind and this voice from the soul, this inner cheerleader, if you will. And for me, I felt like I'd never had an inner cheerleader. I felt like the inner cheerleader had like packed her bags and left the room, right? She's just nowhere to be found. And so the first step here, and I'm going to be coming on every week, and I'm just going to give you a little bit at a time, because I think that's the best way that we learn, if we can just implement one thing. Because you're not going to get where you want to go by continuing to do the same thing in your life. So if you want to change or improve, or you recognize that you're bumping up against people or yourself, you're really triggered or reactive, then this is how you want to learn to navigate your life. The other piece that's important here is to understand that this voice in the head is often from your past. So everybody in your life has taken up residence in here. So your mom, your grandparents, your dad, your siblings, your teachers, your coaches, your friends, your bosses, your boyfriends, your partners, your ex-partners, your cousins, etc. They've all made little comments here and there that get put into the subconscious of your mind, which then affect how you show up in the world and lead to self-doubt. And then you wonder, is this really me, or is this really the voice of somebody else? And so again, the first step is to really pay attention to the thoughts that you're thinking. In order to navigate this inner critic, you have to be aware of when these critical thoughts are coming your way. And then we're gonna want to pause and move into the breath. And so I'm just going to stop it there for today, and encourage you to hook up with me here next week, same time, same place, and we'll talk a little bit more how to navigate this. I'll just finish this off by clarifying this piece. There's two branches to your nervous system, so sympathetic and parasympathetic, and you can only be in one state at a time. You cannot be in both states. So other words to describe these states of your physiology, and just understand that the reason this is so important is that the king system in your body is your nervous system. Your nervous system controls things like digestion and urination. And if you're in a sympathetic or stressed state, which who hasn't been in these last 18 months on the planet? It's kind of been a little bit stressful, right? You're not going to get the full benefit of the nutrition. You're not going to get the full benefit of the food that you're eating. You may not be sleeping as well. You may have put on a bit of weight, right? And this is because when you're in a sympathetic state, certain hormones get produced in your body, one of them being cortisol. And when you're in that state, you move into, the body thinks you either are in a fear, or you have to fight, or you have to flight, or you have to or you freeze, or it's called fawning. Fawning is the next one, and maybe I'll describe that a bit more again in a future video. So other words to highlight this, again, sympathetic versus parasympathetic. So stressed or relaxed, inner critic, inner cheerleader, fear or love, sabotage or support, hurt or help. So you always want to be really discerning about the thoughts that you're thinking. And the last example I'll give you is ego versus soul. So the ego is not bad, but the ego is designed to protect you from the pain of the past. So I'm always saying to myself, because I have trauma in my background, and whenever I'm triggered in the present moment, and it just happened to me recently, I have to remind myself that this, whatever this is in the present moment, is not that from the past. It's showing up right now in the present moment, but it isn't actually anything to do with the present moment. So a little quote for you, you may have heard, and I'm going to give this a shout out to my dear friend Stacy, who says to me, Chris, if it's hysterical, it's historical. Which means if you're hysterical in the present moment, it's generally not about the present moment. It's nothing to do with the present moment. It's something unresolved from your past that your ego is now trying to protect you from in the present moment. And Gabor Mate, who's one of my teachers, talks about this as well. So the last thing I think that's all I'll say, because I've said that a few times. This is the last thing I'll say. So I will stop now. And I really wish you a beautiful day. I really wish you a beautiful day. So, sorry, this isn't the last thing. I was going to say one more thing. Be discerning with your thoughts. So it's like, I'll just pick up this pen. Say this is a thought floating around in my head. I want you to almost like take it out and then look at it and examine it and decide, which side does this thought fall on? Does it fall on the sympathetic or the supportive or parasympathetic side? And if it's a thought that does not serve you, then let's see if you can not follow that train of thought any further by refraining from following, relaxing into the breath. And as I said, I'll talk about this more next time. Or if you have my book, you can read chapter 18. Or if you are a patient of mine and you're watching this, you can review the 7 R's of problematic thoughts that I've taught you. And what I could probably do too is put the link in, because I have a series of videos around this as well. I don't know if I'm technologically smart enough to do that. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Wishing you all a beautiful day. And I'm going to end this if I know how. Instagram is a challenge for me. How do I end it? Maybe hit the X.